My name is Bob Festmeyer, and I am honored to serve as a chaplain to the law enforcement community. It is a privilege to walk alongside you as we grieve and as we celebrate Jason's life, his legacy, and his calling. I'd like to thank the Peoria Police Department and also the Judd family for allowing us to honor him alongside you, but also to honor you. In our closing moments together, I would like to take just one of those minutes to ask you to reflect with me, to allow me to encourage each of you before our officers and our firefighters return to the streets, our non-sworn to their tasks, and our families back to their homes. In the very difficult, violent, distressing, and stressful times we live in, it is important to find hope, to see the good, to hear the truth, and to encourage the soul. The greatest threat to police officers is not bullets, or even the tragic accident that brought us here today. It is the constant attack on your soul from the violence, the ignorance, the arrogance, the selfishness that comes at you day after day. But it's not just you. It's your loved ones who worry about losing you in so many different ways. Your mind, your body, and your soul. Every time you suffer for doing right, or because of the actions of someone else, there is a temptation to choose a different life path. When you have been hurt so deeply, when you grow weary of people who don't seem to care, or thoughtlessly say or believe the worst about you, when you grow mentally, physically, and spiritually tired of giving and giving, and your heart is being stomped on over and over again, or like today, the price just seems too high to pay. You might be tempted to choose a path of perceived safety, of perceived protection of your soul. C.S. Lewis wrote, "To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will certainly be wrung and possibly be broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give your heart to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. But in that safe, dark, motionless, and airless space, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable. The only place outside heaven where you can be safe from tragedy or the risk of tragedy. The only other place outside of heaven you are safe from all the dangers of love is hell." But there's another choice, the one you live every day. You just use a different word to express it. That word is honor. Honor is to live for something greater than yourself, someone greater than yourself. You do what is right because it's right, even if you know that it's going to harm you, hurt you, give you nightmares, wounds your soul, or even takes your life. I have personally witnessed this honor and this integrity as you continue in this year of suffering to respond without hesitation to the baby not breathing, the toddler that's missing, the child that's beaten, the teen whose own parents can't handle them, the vulnerable adults who have no other protectors, the subject with a knife or a gun. You respond to traffic fatalities, drunk drivers, the terminally ill. You save those at death's door because of an overdose. You search in 100+ degree heat for the lost elderly person who walked away from their home, or you continue the search for a loved one missing for years. You talk people out of decisions that will cause them harm for the rest of their life, or end it. And while it would be a great temptation to let people see what just one day would be like without you, because of your honor, you know you can't live with yourself if an innocent person suffers. And so you continue to place the threat of their suffering above the real and present suffering you and your families experience on our behalf. You do this for everyone, regardless of their race, their creed, or religion, regardless of whether you'll receive a thank you or an F the police. All these things you do without taking a selfie, without posting how great you are, without drawing attention to the millions of times you do your job with the highest of professionalism. You quietly and effectively and efficiently go about your calling with courage, compassion, and excellence. Not perfection, but excellence. Perfection is to possess the foreknowledge of everything that is going to happen so that every decision and action that you make works out perfectly for all those that are involved. But only God is perfect. Excellence is doing all you can with the training you have received, using all the resources available to you. In the split second, you have to make a decision or to take action. You are not God, but you are created in his image. You are not perfect. You are covered by his grace. But you are unique in that you never ask anyone to do what you do not already require and demand of yourselves. You are the only people I know who respond with medical aid to the very people who moments ago just tried to harm or to kill you, defending the very rights of those who would say or do evil towards you. You professionally, courageously, steadfastly stand as both guardians and warriors because this is your God-ordained calling. At no other times is God's exhortation more important when he says to you, be not overcome of evil, and evil will come against you. Be it overcome evil with good. You are that good. You are a gift given by God who always sends his best in you every day. You are set apart and you are ordained to this calling. Not just you, but your loved ones who experience suffering because you stand strong. Your loved ones, the most special people of all, most often overlooked, your greatest defenders and greatest warriors, when they pay the price because you fight the good fight, do not grow weary of doing good. This is a hard ask at a day like this or in a year like this, but the one who called you does not ask you what he has not already done for you. In the New Testament book of Hebrews, it says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, that's all those who have faithfully gone before us, people like Officer Jason Judd, and all the others we have gathered to honor so many times before. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin so easily entangles. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorned its shape, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. It's easy to lose heart. It's easy to lose sight of this high calling. And that's why in moments like this, where the real priorities of life come into their sharpest focus, we are reminded that only a few things will follow us into eternity. We have celebrated them today in the life of this precious man. The only real priorities in life are faith, family, friends, and fulfilling our calling by finishing well. Living each day without taking tomorrow for granted, because no one knows when today is our last day to live to the fullest. God's promise each and every day is that you are never alone, abandoned, or forgotten. That even in the shadow of the valley of death, you are light, not the shadow, and he is with you. He does not promise you will not suffer. In fact, the opposite is true. The righteousness, the good, those with integrity will suffer for doing good. And because the one who called you equipped you, he also made a place for you. We just heard that most important message from Jason's pastor. Today we grieve the absence of Jason from us, celebrate the promise and hope of eternal life. I'd like to conclude with the words from 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. In just a moment,